I want to tell you something about belief, not religious belief, not belief in someone else, belief in yourself. The specific, quiet, private belief that you are capable of this, that the goal is reachable, that the work you are doing is building something real even when you cannot see it. This belief in yourself, in the process, in the possibility of arriving, is not a nice addition to learning English. It is the foundation. Without it, the hard weeks break you. The slow months make you stop. The moments of doubt grow into conclusions. The conclusion becomes, this is not for me. With it, the hard weeks are just hard weeks. The slow months are still months of building. The moments of doubt are just moments. The conclusion remains, I am getting there. The belief is not blind. It does not ignore the difficulty. It does not pretend the journey is easy. It just refuses to let difficulty become the final verdict, because difficulty is temporary. Progress is real. And the version of you that is fluent and confident and connected, that version is genuinely possible. You just have to keep believing in it, even when it is hard to, especially then. Today's story is about a young man named Youssef. Youssef stopped believing more than once, in different ways, at different stages. But he found his way back to belief each time. And what that belief held through difficulty, rebuilt after doubt, eventually produced was something he is still grateful for. This is his story. Meet Youssef. Youssef was 27 years old. He worked at a logistics company, coordinating between warehouse teams, managing inventory records, communicating with suppliers. He was organized and reliable. His team depended on him. He had been trying to improve his English for 3 years. 3 years. That number matters, because in 3 years there had been many moments of giving up, of believing it was not working, of concluding privately and painfully that maybe he was not someone who could do this. 3 stops, 3 restarts. Significant progress made and then lost. Progress rebuilt. Confidence built and then shaken. A complicated relationship with a goal that had never stopped mattering to him. He had not given up permanently, but he had given up temporarily many times, and each temporary giving up had cost something: time, progress, and most painfully, the particular erosion of belief that comes from ourself fail at something you care about. When he started for the 4th time, 8 months ago, he had made one decision that was different from the previous 3. He was going to protect the belief, not pretend it was always there, but actively, deliberately protect it with evidence, with honest measurement, with the memory of progress already made when it came under attack. The first attack, month 2 of the 4th attempt, the belief came under its first attack. He had hit a plateau. The rapid early progress, which had carried the first attempt and second attempt until they stopped, had slowed significantly. New vocabulary was not sticking the way it had in week 1. Grammar points he had understood clearly at the beginning were blurring as he added more complex ones. His listening comprehension had improved, but seemed to have stalled at a level that was not yet useful in real situations. The familiar thought arrived. I am not making progress. Maybe this is as far as I can go. Maybe I am not built for languages the way some people are. He recognized it. He had felt this before. In the first attempt, he had listened to it. He had stopped. This time, he wrote it down. He wrote the thought in his notebook exactly as it had arrived. And then below it, he wrote what he knew to be true. I am in month 2. Month 2 always feels like this. The early progress was fast because the early material was new. The current material is harder and the progress is slower because I am building something more complex. That is not failure, that is learning. He wrote, the thought is lying. The evidence says otherwise. He opened the course. He studied for 20 minutes. He did not feel better immediately. The doubt was still there, but the belief, protected by the written evidence, had not been surrendered. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I write the doubt down. Then I write what I know is true. The thought is lying. The evidence says otherwise. Month 2 always feels like this. I know that now. Slower progress in complex material is still real progress. I protect the belief with evidence, not with feeling. I open the course, I study. The belief survives another day. As a visitor, it does not live here. I keep going. Lesson 1, the belief journal. After the first attack, Youssef started something he called the belief journal. Not a study record, not a progress tracker, something different, a collection of evidence for the belief. Every week, he wrote one specific, concrete thing that was true now that had not been true a month ago. Week 5, I read a full English email from our international supplier today and understood every word without a dictionary. 4 weeks ago, I would have needed to look up 3 or 4 words. Week 8, I watched an English tutorial on inventory management, 20 minutes at normal speed. I followed 80% of it. 2 months ago, I would have followed maybe 40%. Week 11, I wrote a reply to an English supplier inquiry entirely on my own today. No translation tool. It took longer than it will eventually, but it was mine. Small entries, one per week. Specific, honest, not inspiring in the way of motivational posters. Just true, just real, just the actual evidence that the process was building something. When the doubt arrived, and it arrived several more times over the following months, he went to the belief journal. He read the entries. He reminded himself, this is what is actually happening, not the voice. This. The journal was not magic. It did not make the doubt disappear, but it gave belief something to stand on, specific, real, undeniable. He wrote in the journal is the evidence. The evidence is the foundation. The foundation holds the belief. The belief keeps me going. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I write one specific true thing every week. That is my evidence. The belief journal is the evidence. The evidence holds the belief. When doubt arrives, I read the entries. The entries answer the doubt. Specific and honest beats vague and inspiring every time. Week 11, I wrote the supplier reply alone. That is real. The journal is not magic. It is ammunition against the voice. Evidence holds the belief when feeling cannot. Lesson 2, the second attack, bigger month 5. The second attack was bigger. He had failed something at work. His manager had asked the team to prepare short presentations on their areas of responsibility in English for a visiting international partner. Youssef had prepared carefully. He had practiced more than before. In the presentation, mid-sentence, in front of his team and the visitor, he lost the thread. He paused too long. His manager moved the meeting forward. He sat down. He felt like 5 months of work had been revealed as not enough, like the belief had been wrong. That evening, he did not study. He sat with the failure. The next morning, he opened the belief journal. He read from the beginning 15 entries of real specific evidence. He wrote, Month 5, lost the thread in the presentation, real and hard, and it does not cancel months of real work. A difficult moment is not a verdict. He closed the journal. He opened the course. He studied for 30 minutes. The belief had bent. It had not broken. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. A difficult moment is not a verdict on the whole journey. I sit with the failure. Then I open the journal. Then I continue. The entries are still true. The progress is still real. The belief bent. It did not break. That is the strength I needed. Month 5 was hard. Month 6 continued. That is what matters. I study 30 minutes, 10 more than usual. The belief needs action. The journal answered the presentation. The evidence held. Lesson 3, what believing through difficulty produced 8 months after starting the 4th attempt. Youssef was different, not just in English, in something harder to name. He had been through 2 significant attacks on his belief and had not surrendered either time. He had bent and continued. He had failed and returned. He had doubted and found his way back, not through blind positivity, but through specific, real evidence that the journey was real. And the English, built through 8 months of believing even on the hard days, had genuinely changed. He could handle the international supplier correspondence at work now. His manager had seen this, had seen the confidence that had developed, and had started routing English supplier communication through Youssef regularly. He could understand English audio content at natural speed. Not all of it, not in every context, but well enough to follow a meeting or a training video without significant struggle. He had joined an online English discussion group, engineers and logistics professionals from different countries. Once a week, he contributed, he was heard. These were real things, built through 8 months of not stopping believing when it was hard to believe. He thought about the 3 previous attempts, about the belief that had not been protected, about the stops. And he thought about this attempt, about the journal, about the 2 hard moments, about the decision each time to continue. He wrote in the journal 8 months. Supplier correspondence mine, international discussion group joined, belief held through 2 attacks. The holding is what made the difference, not the ability, the belief. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. 8 months of believing built something the previous 3 attempts could not. The holding is what made the difference, not the ability. Belief protected through difficulty produces what brief bursts never can. Supplier correspondence mine. International group joined. Belief built these. I bent twice. I continued twice. The English was built in between. The journal held the belief. The belief held the journey. The journey built this. Don't stop believing. The evidence proves it is worth holding. Lesson 4. 1 year. What belief produced? 1 year after the 4th beginning, Youssef was in an interview. Not a local interview, an interview for a regional logistics coordinator role at an international shipping company, a role that was genuinely different from where he had been, more complex, more international, more aligned with the person he had been trying to become. The interview was in English. 45 minutes, 2 interviewers. He was nervous. Not the paralyzed, nervous of someone who does not believe they can do this. The productive nervous of someone who cares about the outcome and trusts themselves to handle what comes. He answered the questions, he asked 2 of his own, he explained his experience clearly and specifically. He did not lose the thread. At the end, one interviewer said, "You communicate very clearly, especially for someone who has built their English largely on their own." He thought about the belief journal, about 36 entries, about 2 attacks, about the months of not stopping. He did not say any of that. He just said, "Thank you. I worked hard at it." 2 weeks later, he received an offer. He sat with the offer letter for a while. He thought about 3 years of struggling, 3 stops, 3 restarts, a complicated relationship with a goal that had never stopped mattering. And then 8 months of protecting the belief, of writing down the evidence, of answering the attacks with truth rather than surrender. He wrote in the belief journal, the last entry for the year, year 1, got the offer, the belief held. Don't stop believing. It was always worth holding. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. The offer arrived. 1 year of protected belief built this. Productive nervous, not paralyzed. That is what belief produces. You communicate very clearly. Thank you. I worked hard at it. The belief held for 1 year. 1 year of holding built the offer. Don't stop believing. It was always worth holding. I know that now. 3 stops, 1 year of not stopping. The difference is everything. The belief journal wrote this story. Entry by entry, week by week. Final words. Hold the belief. Youssef's story is simple. He tried 3 times and stopped 3 times because the belief did not survive the difficulty. The 4th time, he protected the belief with evidence, with honest weekly entries, with the decision to answer doubt with truth rather than surrender. 1 year. An offer from an international company. English that was genuinely, functionally, professionally real. Not because he was more talented than in the previous attempts, because the belief held. Maybe you are doubting right now. Maybe the progress feels slow. Maybe a difficult moment has made you question everything. Maybe the voice has arrived with its most convincing arguments. I want to say one thing. Don't stop believing. Not because it is always easy, not because the doubt is not real, but because the doubt is not the truth. The truth is in the evidence, in the words you know now that you did not know last month, in the email you read without stopping, in the conversation that went better than the last one. Find your evidence, write it down, one specific real thing per week. Something that is true now that was not true last month. And when the doubt arrives, read it. Let the evidence answer the voice and keep going. Because the version of you that is confident in English, that communicates clearly, that handles the international call, that gets the offer, is real. The only thing between you and that version is the belief that they are possible. Don't stop believing. See you in the next one. Stay calm, stay consistent, and don't stop believing.